Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Subtract series. In this episode, we are going to be building the UI of the app. We are going to be building everything from the dashboard down to the AI suggestion view. So we're going to cover dashboard view, ad subscription view, the FL chart view, notification view, and the AI suggestion view. Right. So I know this is going to take a lot of time to be completed, but we'll see how far we can go. So as you can see, this is just a dummy application. So I'm trying to run it now. So we'll have the view on our simulator. So while that is running, I'll just go through the project structure. I think we have already done the folder structuring in the previous videos. So what I'm going to do here, inside the utils, I'm going to create a new file inside here. So this style is more like our app theme. So I'm just going to create an app theme file inside and then create the colors that we'll be using for this app and also the app theme that we'll be using as well. So these are the colors that we'll be using, and so I'll just import this. So looking at this, we have the blue color, which is the primary color. We have the green, we have the white, and we have gray that we'll be using too for some section of the UI. Then I'm going to create the app theme. So inside this app theme, we have to create the light theme, but I'm not going to create dark theme now because we are not implementing dark theme. So we'll just have the light theme variable here. We'll be using theme data to do that. So the first thing, we want to set the primary color, which is the app colors.blue. Then we also need to set the scaffold background color that we'll use across the app. This is going to be the gray color. Then we need to set the color scheme. Just use color more like the secondary color across the app. We use dot from swatch dot copy width. Then set the secondary color, which is app colors dot green. All right. Then the next thing we're going to do is to customize our test theme. So here I'll just have to use the test theme, and here I set the headline large to, remember I told you that we'll be using Inter as the font family. So we'll have Google font.inter, and from here I will set the font size to be 18 because this is the header. Then we have the font weight as well, and this font weight is going to be 700. Then moving on, I will create the body large, body medium, and body small. So I'll just duplicate this 3 times and change this to body large, body medium, and body small. Then we'll go ahead and change the font sizes. This is going to be 16, and font weight is going to be bold. This 14, and the other one is going to be 12. Then I'll change the font weight respectively. Cool. That's pretty much it. Then the next thing I'm going to set is the app theme. So just below the test theme, I'm going to set the app bar theme. So we have background color. So what I'm showing you here is one of the easiest way to theme your app. So you just have to, create all the theme data in one file, and then you can start using it across your app. That way it will be easier for you to manage in the future, and it's also going to be easier in case you want to change some colors, you want to implement dark mode. It's also going to be easier. So just take note of this so that in your next app you will not make mistake. So since we have this light theme, assuming I want to create a dark theme now, what I can do is just come here and change this to dark theme. But since we are not working with dark theme, I'll just let it be. So, or let me just remove it. I will show you guys how to implement that theme in a later video, not this one. So now that we have our light theme here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the main.dat. I'm going to correct some few things, remove all these stuffs that are here, and start the whole stuff afresh. So we have a future void. So this is like the starting point of our app. Then I have the main, the sync. Then let's just put widgets binding. It will be needed later because we'll be initializing Hive here and also Firebase. I doubt if we are going to be initializing Firebase though. Then here I have my run app, and inside here we just have to say my app. Then I'll create a stateless widget for this. Let's come here and say stateless widget. Cool. Then moving on, I'm going to create the material app, which is a wrapper for our app. Is going to wrap the whole scaffold widget that we'll be using. Here I'm going to set debug check banner to false. Let me leave that one first so that I will show you how it appears if I did not set it. We'll give the title of our app, which is Subtract, and we have the theme. So the theme we'll be using is app theme dot, and we just created that like theme. Okay. And secondly, we have the home screen. So we have not created the home screen. This is supposed to be the dashboard view that users are going to see once they open the app for the first time, because this app, we are not adding any splash screen and all that. So from here, if I save this, let me remove this home for instance. If I save this, you can see that we have this debug banner showing here. So if you don't want this to show, you can just set debug mode check to false. Okay, but if you want it to show only on debug mode, but you don't want it to show on release mode, you can just use kdebug mode. So once you publish it to Play Store or App Store, automatically it's not going to show. But if it's in debug mode where you're testing, it's going to show. So now let's quickly move on and create the dashboard view and then implement the necessary screen. Let's go to view section. Inside here, I'm going to create a new screen called dashboard view. So from here, I'm going to be using a stateful widget, and we have the dashboard view here. And I'll go back to the main.dat, import this, so it's going to change and use the dashboard view as the home screen. Then moving on, I'm going to create a scaffold widget. So from this scaffold widget, we need to create our app bar and then implement other stuff. So we have the app bar here to be. Then the background color, I want to change it a little. So let's use app color. Remember I told you that this background color is going to be like a light blue, right? So what I'm going to do here is to say app colors dot blue. We use with opacity. I know this opacity is depreciated, so but we'll just stick with it for this tutorial. It's deprecated actually. So the next thing I'm going to do here, you can see how the app bar is showing very fainted blue. So I'm going to set the title here. The title is going to be Subtract. So I don't like how we keep, repeating this Subtract test. So what I will do, I will go to my constant here and create strings, for instance, constant strings.dat. So inside here, what I'm going to do is to say const string app name, like so, and I'll call this Subtract. So doing this, I'll go back and change it from this main screen. So instead of having a string there, we'll just import the app name directly. And I will do the same thing in the dashboard view. Here, we'll just import the app name as well. Let me remove this. Okay, shrink this a little. All right, and we'll move this. Ignore these errors. We still have some few things to do. So what I'm going to do next is to set the style. The style is going to be No, we'll let it be. No need to set the style. Let's just let it be like that. So the next thing I'm going to do is to set center title to false because I don't want it to be centered. So it's going to move it to the left. Then moving on, we need to set our body, and we can call this, let's use animated switcher. You know, this animated switcher will be much better if, assuming we're using bottom navigation bar, yeah? So I don't think it's necessary because I don't plan, based on our sketch, our wireframe, there is no bottom navigation bar, there is no tab and all that. So it's just like a one-page app. So I won't be using this animated switcher for this. But what I need to do is, to build home. So this build home is going to be another widget, basically to show the home screen and every other thing that are required. So moving on, I will create a function for this. Just create this. It's going to be a widget. It's supposed to take subscription provider, but we are not creating the subscription provider for now. So we just build out all the UIs that are needed for this app. So the first thing I'm going to do is to return a single child screw view. That single child screw view is going to have a padding, and inside the padding we have to set it as 16, okay, to add padding around between the single child screw view. Then we have those set columns. So this column, the reason is so that we can have all the children inside it. So the first thing I want to do is let's set cross-axis alignments to start. Yeah, cross-axis alignment to start because initially it was set to center. Then I'll have a row section. This row section is basically to show the upcoming renewal count and the total monthly spend. All right. So inside here, I'm going to set the main axis alignment to space between, and then follow up by setting the children. And inside here, we'll create a start card, a card more like, to show us the various things like the price and all this stuff. So all these things are going to be a card which I will be creating inside. Let's do it inside our widgets. We have our widgets where we'll be putting all those, I'm going to create a new directory here. I will call this widget. Then here I'm going to give it a name, which is stats card. .dat. Okay, why am I using underscore? So inside here, we are going to use a stateless widget, and I will call this stats card. Okay, and this stats card is going to take different parameters, so different constructors actually. So what I'm going to do here, first I'm going to create the string title. We have the title, we have the value, we have the subtitle. They are all going to be a string. Then the other one is going to be color, which is the color that we want to display. So I'm going to make them required, initialize them, initialize all the parameters here. Yeah, so I've just done that. Then moving on, I'm going to create the UI, how it's going to look. So before then, let me go to the stats card. So from the stats card, I just need to put some few things in order. Let's go to the dashboard view. So from here, I'll put the first stats card and put the second one because it's going to be two based on this wireframe. The first one, the second one. So from here, I'm going to import this and then put the necessary data that are required. So here, I'll just add the 4 parameters. Here, I will also add the 4 parameters. So save that. Let's remove all this. The first color here is going to be appcolors.blue. I know for now we are using dummy data, right? We have not set up the logic to add a new subscriptions. So here I'll just remove all these stuffs, save it in, and the title, the first title, we are going to say total monthly spend. Then the value, we'll just set the value to be, let's say 3000. You can add some $sign. You use this to escape, and we can just add a $sign like so. Then the subtitle can just be across, maybe the total number of, let's say across 4 subscriptions. Then we have the other one here, so I'll just duplicate this. Let me remove this one, duplicate this, set this to green, and this is going to be in the next 7 days. Let's set this to in the next 7 days, because yeah. Then the total number of subscriptions, we can say 4. Then this one is going to change to upcoming renewals. Okay, while we have that, let me return back to the stats card, and from here we are going to build the card and display it appropriately. From here we have the card widget, and I'm going to set the shape. So let's set the shape to rounded rectangular border, and I'm going to set the border radius, which is going to be 12. Okay, actually border radius. Cool. Now moving on, I'm going to create the child, which is going to be a container, and from here I'll set the width. I want the width to be 160, and the padding, let's just add 12 as the padding. Following it is the decoration. Unfortunately, I can't use that here. All right, we have decoration, boss decoration, and I'm going to set the border radius as well to be 12, so I don't need to start that afresh. I just copy this one and put it here. Cool, you can see now it's taking shape little by little. So the next thing I'm going to do here, inside the container, it needs a child, not there. So it needs a child. We have the column, and we need to set the first child, which is a test, and it's going to be a title, and the body are going to follow, and then we have the subtitle as well. So let's put that here, where we have the thing. Subtitle is not correctly spelled. Subtitle is not supposed to be subtitle, so I'll just spell that correctly. And you can see here we have the test, and you can see we are using the theme.ofcontext or test theme.body medium. So here we are not passing the test style statically. We are getting them from this app theme that we already created. Everything is coming from here. Yeah. If you also want to set the scaffold background color, you can also set it from the app theme as well. But I think it's already taking effect automatically, so we don't need to do anything there. I will change this to subtitle and go back to subcard. You can see how it's showing now. Cool. And you can see we have all the text theme. This one is for body large, copy width. We are increasing the font weight to bold. The reason why I did this is because after using body large, it did not reflect as bold. So I had to override what we have previously. So here I'm going to set the spacing to 8. And also I'm going to set the cross-axis alignment because I don't like how this is aligned to the center. So let's set cross-axis alignment to start, to move these guys a little bit to the left. You can see now it's looking good. So our designs are nice, but I still don't like what we are getting here. I think I will remove this width and see. Yeah, cool. So I've just removed the width. Yeah. I don't think anything is missing. We are good to go from here. But let me see if I add an expanded widget, if this is going to look better. Expanded widget, and I'm going to remove, leave the spacing. You can see now it's good. I like the spacing that it has in the middle. So this is looking clean and beautiful. So now moving on, I'm done with the stats card. The next thing we are going to design now is the AI card, and then we can now look at other sides of the app. So let's go back now to the start card. Just in this column, I'm going to add spacing to be 16. So for each items that we have, they are going to be spaced with a height of 16. Here I'm going to set the AI card. So let's say we have the AI card here. AI card. So this is going to show the button for us to be able to analyze subscriptions. So I'll also go back to the widget view. So from here, I will create AI card like that. So it's also going to be a stateless widget. We call this AI card. Okay. The AI card only takes one parameter, which is a subscription provider, but we are not going to be doing that now. We will start that when we want to implement the subscription logic. So I think in order not to make this video too long, I will just complete only the UI. Then in the next section, we'll do the subscription and all that. Yeah, I think that was the initial plan though. So we have the return, we have the card as well. So inside here, I'm going to set the shape. The shape is going to be the still rounded rectangular border. Then we have the border radius .all.circular actually. We use 12. Then I have the child widget, which is going to be the container. Here we have the padding. Agent set, we have it to be 10. Okay, then we are going to set the decoration, which is going to have a color of blue, and we have the border radius as well. So go ahead and import this. Save it. Nothing is taking shape for now. I think I'll go back to the AI card and import this in our dashboard screen. Then we can return back to the AI card. You can see how it's showing. Nothing tangible for now. So what I'm going to do next is to create the view. We have a list tie basically, but before the list tie, we have to set the child, and this is going to be a column. So based on how this is looking, we are going to have the list tie here, where we have the AI cost saver, we have the find subscription button, we have the trailing icon, and then we have this button here to analyze that's going to help us to analyze the subscriptions. So from here, I will set the spacing to be 8. Then we set the cross-axis alignment to start. Then I have the children. The first child that I'm going to put here is the list tie. We have the AI cost saver as the test. You can see I'm also using the team data.copy width to override some few things. Then we have find subscription to save money. Then we have the phosphorus icon. Remember I told you that we'll be using this as our icon pack. So I'll save that, and it has light bulb, okay, in it. So now we are using the light bulb. You can see how beautiful it's displaying here. So moving on to the next section, I'm going to implement the button that is going to save it for us. So I think for this button, I'll be using, let me use elevated button. Think with icon. So we have the unpressed. So from here, we need to set the label. The label is going to be a test widget that says analyze now. So I'm going to save that. I think it will require an icon. Let's say the icon now is going to be the phosphor icon. Then inside we have we need to set the icon data, which is phosphor icons dot, let's use wave sign for this, and we need to set the color as well. So the color is going to be app colors dot that. I think it's already taking the proper color, but let's just make sure that everything is properly set. Yeah. I will set the size as well. Let me set the size to 20. Cool. So that's pretty much it. And whenever we click on this button, the analyze will take effect, and we can now proceed to show the AI suggestion model. I'll be leaving all these ones for now. Let's move on to the other sections. I think we also need to make this bold, or let's leave it like that for now. So we are done with the AI suggestion logic. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to create the notification insight section. where we are going to have the upcoming renewals, and then we have the subscription sub, and then we can create the notification card. I will go back to the dashboard view. So below this AI card, I have a column. We have a column here, and inside here, I'm going to set the cross-axis alignment to be cross-axis.start. And we have the main axis alignment. I'll just set this to mean. So the next thing I want to do is to set the notification insight. So we have the test widget here. We have this to be notification insight. Set the style. We'll be using the theme of contest. Alright, why is contest not here? Unfortunately, we need to pass this build contest here so that we'll be able to use contest in this case. Okay. We are going to use the test theme. This is going to be the body large. Okay. Cool. Notification and insights. So we have it there. Then I'll also duplicate this as well. And this one now is not going to be notification and insight. It's going to be the upcoming renewals. So I'm going to use body small for this one. Body small, it's too small. Let's use body medium. Cool. Now moving on, I'm going to create a list view builder, and that list view builder is going to call the notification list card. So from here, I'm just going to have a list view builder, list view builder. I think it's better we use list view dot separated. Then you have the item body, context goes first, and then the index. Here we can now return, let's say, the notification list card, like so. So I'm going to implement that soon. Let's complete other sections, which is the separation builder is going to be a divider. Return not spelled correctly. Then item count, for now let's just use 4. Okay. Then this notification list card, I'm going to go over to the widget section. So from here, I'm going to create notification list card. So here we have the stateless widget. I'm just going to put this notification list card here. Now let me show you how to fix this. But before then, I think this is going to cause some errors. What I'm going to do here is let me leave it. Once it shows the error, then I will show you how to fix it. So what I'm going to do is to go over to the notification list card. Inside here, I'm going to create the notifications card. And the first thing I need to do is, we need the days left and all those stuff, the badge color as well, based on the days left. But that aside, what I'm going to do here is, okay, let me return a card as well. We have the shape, rounded rectangular border. Now this, having this border radius everywhere is now becoming annoying. Normally we're supposed to, create a global widget, something like that we can call anytime, like we can use to wrap any widget to make it to have card, right? That would be so much better instead of having it everywhere and every time we want to create a new widget. But I won't be doing that in this tutorial, but it's something that is possible and you can consider it as well. Then we have the symmetric, we have the vertical to be 8. Then inside here, I'm going to set the child widget, and the child widget, we have our role widget inside here, and inside this role, I'm going to be wrapping it with a padding to give it proper spacing. Then this padding is going to be 16. So now inside this role, what I'm going to do is to have my children, and the first one is going to be a circular avatar. So inside this circle avatar, I'm going to have a radius. Let me give it a radius of 22. And we have the background color. Let's use app colors. So basically, this icon is more like, if you go to this notification view, you will see that we have an icon here for the notification insights widget. Then we have the title, and then we have the duration, like the days left. So we import app colors here, like so. Dot blue, that will be opacity, where we can say 0.1. And inside here we can add this child. So I'll be using the phosphor icon as well. And inside here, let's use phosphor icons dot, I'll set notifications. And inside here, we are also going to set the color to blue if need be. All right, everything is looking good. Then for the spacing, I don't need to set the spacing actually. So I'll just set a expanded widget here. Let's go just here. This is not going to be this is going to be the sub name, like the subscription name. So for now, let's use YouTube, okay, as a sub name. So let me quickly import this to show you guys how it displays. Now we are getting a lot of errors because it's showing no check operator, blah blah blah, and all those hard size. So to fix that, is the reason why it's showing that is because we're using a list view inside a column widget, and it's not good. So I'm going to set these to, I'm going to set the physics to never scrollable physics, and also set the shrink wrap to false. So the reason why I'm doing this is so when this list view is moving, it should take, we already have a single child scroll view here, so it should move the whole of this view together instead of moving it independently. All right, we are going to save that, but it looks like I'm still getting some errors. So I'll do a hot restart to see if it's going to fix that. All right, it's not fixing it. I think we are still encountering the error. So let's see what the issue is. Okay, my bad. Shrink wrap is not supposed to be set to false. Let's return it to true. Yeah. Change shrink wrap to true. Physics, never scrollable physics. So let me see if changing this to blue that works. Let's see how it behaves. Okay, that's not the issue. Let's read some errors and see. Coming from the single child scroll view, what should we do here? Okay. Doesn't require us to pass this padding, but yeah, it's working. It's still breaking. It's still showing this many errors. Okay, so I just did hot restart and the error is gone. But if I replace this padding, oh, it doesn't cause any error. So why was that error showing initially? Okay, so let's just observe it to see. So far, no error from the app. Everything is set up correctly. So I'm going to return back to the notification list card. I can see a lot of spacing here, which doesn't sit well with me. So I think I'll be, let's see. Let's see, the spacing is a lot. Let me see if I replace this padding to, no, this padding is actually for the inside. Yeah, it's for the inside. So it's not really around the widget. So let's look at the margin. I think this margin might be the cost. I'm going to remove it because yeah, I just removed it, so it's not needed. Then for the top section, let's go back to our dashboard view. Just above here, I'm going to add, I think I already gave this, yeah, let me give this a spacing, say 10. No, it doesn't sit well as well. So I will leave it like that and just come here and say size box, height to be 10. Cool. Now this is looking pretty. So I'm going to move back now to, is there anything? All right, I'm going to move back to the notification list card. So inside here, I'm going to be creating another widget to show the days left and all that. So we have to set these, like the remaining days should just be under here. We have the expanded widget. Then from here, I'll just set this. Badge color is going to come up later. So this badge color is something that we need to be changing every time from this section. So let's just call this badge color, for instance, to be, I just use app colors .blue. For now, we are going to update it later, as time goes on. Then the days left, we are going to set days left to days left. We'll be doing some calculations here very soon. So just leave it like this for now. And you can see we have the renews in 4 days, the YouTube name, the name of the app and all that. Okay. So now moving on, let's touch other areas of the app, which are your subscription section. So from here, we are going to show all the subscription that the user has. So just from this column, I'll go down a little, and here I'll put your subscriptions. So looking at this, I think it's very unnecessary to have this list tie inside this column. I don't even know why I won't have that column still. But I did it that way so that, this notification inside and upcoming notification, all of them will be one. Okay. We'll just see them as one. Then I have my subscription. Then inside here, I'm going to add, let's say, for instance, we have a subscription list. Let's say we have a subscription list that happens to be empty. So what we can do here is to say if subscription list why am I not getting it? I think I need to pass it inside here, which I don't want. So I'll just come here and put it here. Let's put it here first. So this subscription list is empty. We are going to return a center widget. And from here, we have a child, we have a container, and I'll set my margin. Yeah. Then we have the child. The child is just going to say no subscription yet, add one. And if it's not empty, we'll just go ahead and return a list view. And we have the builder as well and the index. So from here, we are just going to return a subscription tie, which we'll be creating soon. For now, let's set the physics to never scrollable physics. Let's set the shrink wrap to true, just as we did in the last one. Let's set the item count to say 3. I noticed something that our divider is not really visible. So I'm resetting that up as well. But for now, let's go over to the subscription ties. I think we also need to set the index of the subscription tie for now. So let's copy this, and we are going to go back to the section to create the subscription tie. So inside this widget, I'm going to create a new file, call it subscription tie. And here we have our stateless widget. I'll name it subscription tie, and we'll do one thing, which is create the index parameter. and make it, initialize it inside here. Cool. Then return back to the dashboard and import it. Then I was talking about this divider that is not showing, it's not really visible. Let's see if we can use something like a gray color. Let's say colors.gray and see how it appears. Yeah, it's visible, but it's not fine. Yeah, it's visible, but it's not fine. Can we use builder? I'm thinking maybe we should just remove the separation. Yeah, let's just remove the separation. It's better like this. What do you think? What do you guys think? I can't hear you, but if you just let me know in the comment section. Maybe in the next video we are going to update that. Okay, let me know in this comment section. Do you prefer the divider that we included, or you prefer this one without the divider? Let me know in the comment section. So I'll be going down to the subscription type. So from here I'll be creating this subscription type will be able to, currently is showing no subscription yet, and I noticed something that it's way below this guy, but let's ignore that one for now. I'll be setting a card widget. I've really done a lot of repetition when it comes to this card widget, and I don't like it. So we have the symmetric, we have the vertical to the 6, and from here I'm going to set the shape as well. So the shape is going to be the rounded rectangular border, you guessed right. So we have border radius circular. We're going to set this to the 12, and then just go ahead and save this one. So I will return back to the dashboard view where we have this subscription type that is showing empty. So I will set, let me just add a string inside, or an integer, so that it will not be empty. Okay, now it's no more empty. At least that way we can see what we are doing. So I'll go back to the list type. So from here we have a child widget, and the child widget is going to be a list type. So this list type basically is going to have the category icon. Based on the icon of the categories, if the category is, say, entertainment and all that, we are going to return the respective icons, which I'll be showing you guys later. But for now, let's just have a category icon, or let's just have just like, I'll just use one icon. So let's set this to this should be trading here. So we just set, it should be leading, not trading. So reading, we have the first 4 icon, then we have the first 4 icons let's use entertainment, or let's use music, notes, or whatever, or software. Now I'm confused. So let's just use, let's say, Spotify logo, for instance. We are going to update all the stuff later. So we need to set the size to 32, and the icon is going to be the icon color. Let's set this to icons color, say blue. All right, moving on to the next section, we are going to add the title. So this title is basically going to be the sub name, like the subscription name. So we can say here Netflix. And then we can have our style, and the style is going to be the team data.body medium. That's what we'll be using for this one. Let me just put it here, and we have body medium. Okay, you can see how it's displaying. Very cool, beautiful. Then the next thing I'm going to be doing is for the subtitle. So I'll just implement, like, duplicate this. So the subtitle basically is just going to have the monthly cost. Okay, so we can just say 2, like the monthly cost, which is going to be in dollars. We have these to escape. Let's use $400, and then we have these fine dots. Let me grab this. We have this fine dot here, and here we now need to put renews on. Then we'll now put the date format that we'll be using for this. So we can say update format.yamed, and inside here let's just put, let's say, .format. I'll be using datetime.now, like the current date for now, because we'll be updating all those stuff later. So you can see how we display with news on Wednesday, this. Then this is not going to be body medium. I think I don't need to add any style to it. Let's just leave it like this. Okay, then moving on, I'm going to add a trailing icon. So this trailing is going to be a container because I want to add some padding around it. So we have padding const edge inserts.all. This is going to be 10. Then secondly, we are going to put a decoration, and the decoration is going to have the app color.gray, and then we are also going to have a child, which is going to be the category that this particular subscription falls under. So here we are going to set the category, which is going to be a child, and we have the, let's say, entertainment, or let's just say sports, for instance. Yeah, you can see how it displays. Very good and looking nice now. So that's pretty much it for this, and we'll be working on the category icons later based on the entertainment, like based on the category. Okay, that's what we'll be using. So this is it. Let's move over to, we have our subscription and every other thing. The next thing that we need to do now is the FL chart, where we'll be displaying the charts, the summary of the, like the analysis view basically. This thing is very close to this, to the bottom. So what I'll be doing here is just below here, let's say our test widget, just below here I will be adding a spacer of 80. Yeah, let there be space. I think one thing I missed during the creation of this wireframe is that I did not include a, we are supposed to have a floating action button here. Where is this pen? Okay, here's this pen. Why can't I use the pen? We're supposed to have a floating action button here that when we click on it, it's going to take us to this screen. It's going to take us to this screen. So I did not add that. I think before adding this floating action button, let's look at the analysis view. So here, just below this widget, I think we have the subscription section here. And just after this, we have the analytics. So we'll call this analysis view. All right. So I'll be moving this into this widget. Here we are going to be creating the stateless widget. So let's have analysis here. So remember what I told you about the analysis view. This is where we'll be adding the FL chart, right? So the first thing we're going to do is to add like spending by category and your monthly subscription spending breakdown, just as it appears here, where we have this title. Okay. So just below it, I'll be creating, I think first thing that this guy needs, we are going to set this to a stateful widget actually. And then just below here, we are going to set touch index. The reason why I'm setting touch index is so that whenever we touch on the pie chart, it's going to have this, animation to go up a little bit. So watch me as I show you how to implement FL chart pie chart in your project. So here we have the column, the first thing, we have the children, and just below it, I'm going to add this. Okay, so here we have spending by category and your monthly subscription breakdown. So I'll go back to the dashboard screen and import this analysis view. So you can see how it's displaying. It's not looking great. So what I'm going to do is to add a cross-axis alignment and set it to start. Like so. Cool. So moving down, we are going to just still below the spending by category. What I'm going to do now is to set a role, and that role is going to have the pie chart data and all these category datas. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is to say role, and then from this row we have a children. From here I'll just add let me add a size box around here and call these, let's make this 18. And then just below this, I'll add an aspect ratio and the pie chart as well. So first, let me add a pie chart that we'll be using. Then we have the pie chart data. And from here, you can go to postspec.yaml file. Let's say postspec.pub.dev. Search for FR chart. You see that it has a lot of things that you can work with. You can see that it has the, let it just load. It has the pie chart, it has every single thing, okay? So you can just work with all these and see how it works. So just read their documentation to get idea of how to implement it better. So I'm going to go back now to the pie charts, and right here, what I will be doing is to create a PyTorch. So I have this already. I will just, copy it and put it here, so I don't want to start coding things from scratch. So what is happening here is just creating a touch callback whenever we touch on the pie chart, and we're going to set the touch index to the touch section index. That way we'll be able to animate the pie chart itself. So I'm using set state for this, and below this pie chart touch data, I will also create a border and a section space radius. So just here, I think there's touch callback. Below it, actually below the touch PyTorch data, I'll add a border data and section space, and this one. For now, it's not showing anything, so don't worry about it. It's still giving me these errors and all that. So what I'm going to do here next is I'm going to wrap this with an aspect ratio. I'm going to give it an aspect ratio of 0.9. Then let's use an expanded widget because I want it to take the whole space here before showing the indicator. So for the indicator, what we are going to do, I'm just going to come here and create dummy categories, which is going to be a string. So let's just say we have categories here, and here we are going to have entertainment. For instance, we are going to update all this later. We have sports, we have software, and let's say others. Okay, so for these categories, let's move down a little bit. Just at the end of this expanded widget, I'm going to add a column. So here we have spacing to be 4. Then I'm going to add the main axis alignment. So I want to move this to the end. We also have cross-axis alignment, which is going to be start. And here I'm going to add a children. I'll be using list.generate to render these children. Let's use the categories length, and the generator, we just have to set the index here. And moving on, I will just have like the category, like so. Then we have the categories, and then we pass in the index. That's it. Now what I'm going to do now is to return an indicator that we are going to use, okay? And this indicator is going to have different colors based on the category colors. We'll be doing that later, I swear. But I think it's not something we can wait for later. Let's just do them now. So I'm going to update these. We have entertainment, sport, software. Let's say we have utility, and we have health. We also have the others, okay? So what will happen, I will create the category color. So based on this category color, it's going to return the respective, let's say we have this now. I'll import this. So looking at this, we have category colors. We're going to pass the categories here, and then we are going to convert these categories to a lowercase. Then we use the switch. We have an initial color. Then we use the switch to map through it. If the category is entertainment, we are going to return color blue. If it's sports, we're going to return color green, and so forth until we get to others, and then finally we return it out. This is more like a category color. So for this indicator, currently we don't have the indicator, so I will quickly go and create the indicator view, the indicator widget. So from here I will create pie chart indicator, because I like separating things instead of putting them in one file. Remember I told you when we started this video. So here I'm going to create the different parameters. First I'm going to create the color, I'm going to create text color, and also I'll be creating, we have here the color, which is going to be the color itself, and then we have that color is going to be like the background color, then we have the text color as well. Then moving on, we have a string of text. Okay, then we have bool to know if we want it to be square based, if it's square, and then we have double, which is like the size. Okay, so go ahead and initialize the former parameters, and that's pretty much it. We are going to go back now to our app, and here I will just import this guy here. And from here, first thing we need to do is to set, let's just put all these required parameters. So the color now is going to use category colors, so we just have to put category colors here and then pass in the category, and it's going to format it for us. Then the text color, I think the text color we can use app colors.white. I don't know, maybe white should work. Or text color, let's just leave it, say it's, text color can be optional, yeah? It's not going to be a required parameter. Text color, and let me update this. For text color, it's not going to be required, okay? Then for size is also not going to be required, but we are going to default it to 16 in case, okay? Then this text color, we are going to think this is one reason why I should separate, yeah, you're doing color and text color are going to, color is going to be required actually. Then for this text color, I'll just make it to be nullable. All right, then let's return back to our analysis. I'm going to remove this text color. I'm also going to remove the size. Then is square, let's set it to true. Then the text itself, we can just put in the category like so. Save it, and then we'll go back to our indicator. Let's work on the view so that it will look beautiful. All right, for now it's just showing like this, which is not what we want. So what I will do next is working on the, so we just have this view that I'll just put here. Let me copy and paste this. All right, so from here looking at it, we have the, you can see how it's displaying. We have the entertainment, which is the container, width, height, decoration. If it's square, we are returning we are making it rectangular. If it's not, we are making it circular. Then this width, I'll just add spacing here to be 4. Then we have the text. So the text, as you can see, we are using the text theme. We're just passing the text here. You can see how everything is looking good. Let's increase this to 5 and see. Cool. Sorry guys for the noise. They're actually building in my neighborhood, so the machine is making a lot of noise. Apologies for that. So here looking at this now, we can actually, what we can do next is more like try to see if we set its force, maybe it's square to force. You can see now it's making it look circular. I think that is also better. So moving on now, the next thing I will do is to set up the section. So this section basically is to show the pie chart, how it's going to display. So let's have our sections here. I'm going to create a method that returns pie chart section data. Okay, it returns pie chart section data. So from here, what I'm going to do is to return a list.generate. The length is going to be the categories, right? Dot length. And here we have the index as well. All right, I think I'm missing up something here. So we have this. Okay, and Yeah, I'm going to save this. So the next thing I'm going to do here is more like to return. I'm going to return the pie chart section data. Remember, I'm using dummy data for this, so we just have the pie chart section data. You can see how it's displaying. We are just going to use dummy data for this. So the first thing I wanted to do now is to render is touched. Is touched is going to be like to check if the user just touched this pie chart or whatever. So we have is touched. It's going to be like index, which is this I. Let's change it to a proper naming. If index is equal to touched index. Remember, we already created this touched index above here, okay, to keep track of the index that was touched. So we have, and whenever we touch on it, we are updating it here, right? Remember, you can see we are calling set state to rebuild this widget. So right here we have the is touched, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the radius and also the font size. So the radius and the font size is going to be based on the is touched. So if is touched is touched index equal to equal to yeah. So if is touched is equal to 20. If is touched, we are going to return the font, make the font size to be 25. Else it's going to be 16. Then the radius we are also going to increase it. Else we'll leave it the way it is. All right. And I'm also going to get like the shadow. I'm going to set shadows for this as well. Then we are also going to get the category, which is more like category, where we have categories.index. Don't worry, all this we are going to change them later. All right, and feel free to convert this to lowercase. Then we can also have the spending by category, which is based on the category we can get the spending. So for this, I'm just going to use dummy data for now because we have not created that logic to calculate spending by category. So here we have the pie chart section data. I'm also going to extend the color. We also have to use this category color, and then I'll pass the category color as well. And you can see how it has mapped everything based on the category colors. Then the value, for now we can just use, let's just use normal value, say 45. I don't want to do much. So all the values are the same for now. Then we have the title. The title basically is just going to be the category, okay? And then we can add percentage and all that. So maybe we can have something like, say 40 category. Then we can now add percentage, yeah? We can now add percentage. I'm going to update this later. So for now, this is a lot. Oops. Let's just have 40%. Okay, so we are going to update all this later. So I have my radius. We just have to pass in the radius here, and then the last thing we need to do is to add a title style based on this font size and the radius, including the shadow color that we have added. So yeah, everything looks good. You can see when I tap, you can see that animation is, you can see how the size is increasing and the radius is also increasing. That's based on the touch index that we already set. So that's pretty much it for this whole screen. You can see we have completed it just as it appears here. I think one other thing that I'm missing is the floating action button that we need to put so that users will be able to add subscription view. Okay, so I already have that in place. So what I will do, I will go to the dashboard view. Just above here, under body, we are going to have our floating action button, and that floating action button is going to call add subscription view. We are using navigator.push material page route to the add subscription view, and that's it. So what I'm going to do here is to create the screen add subscription view .dat. So right here, what I'm going to do is to say, I'm just going to create the UI for the add subscription view. I'll be using a stateless widget for this, and we'll call this add subscription view. Go back to this screen and try to import it and save. Okay, now you can see the icon. When we screw up, the icon is still visible, so we can click on it to go to the next route, and then in this route I'll be updating the respective UI. So let's have our scaffold widget, and here we have the app bar. With the app bar, we have the title spacing. I'll just set it to 0 for now, and we have the title. The title is going to be add subscription. So let's have this as add a new subscription. Save it. You can see now it's looking good. So moving on, I'm going to put the body widget. It should be here. So the body widget, we have a single child scroll view here, and inside the single child scroll view we have the padding agent sets.all 16, and from here we are going to set the child, which is going to be a column. So one thing I like doing is, add a spacing here, which is 12, and the children. So from here we are going to set like a horizontal. We are going to add a header for this, which is enter the details of your subscription to start tracking, like so. Enter the details of your subscription to start tracking, and that is it. We can now move on. I'll change this to headline large. No, it's not looking good. Let's leave it as body large. So below this heading, I'm going to add a border feed. So it's going like that border feed is more like the, but before that I'm going to add like the different controllers. Okay, those controllers, we are going to move them over to, we are going to move all those controllers over to the, having the controller, cost controller, date controller, the billing circle, and the category. We are going to move this later to the provider, but for now let's just have it here. I don't know which place is better to have this. Okay, for now, it's just dummy data that we are creating, so don't bother about all these errors for now. We are going to update them soon. So from here I'm going to create the border feed. Basically this border feed is more like the widget that we'll be using, like the test form feed widget. So I'll just put everything inside the screen. So right under here I created this border feed. So we have the test editing controller, the label, the input type field, if it's read only or not, and the void callback when we tap on it. You can see how everything is now displaying. Very simple. And also I need to add another thing, which is the drop down item that we'll be using. So I already have it. I will grab that and include it in this section. So from the border feed, we also need to add the drop down feed. This drop down feed will be used when we want to select like category, right? If we want to select categories, we'll be using the drop down feed. And also if we want to select billing circle, we'll be using the drop down feed as well. So that's it. Then now moving on, I'll go to the border section, like here, just below here. I'll add the border feed, and we'll add the first controller, which is going to be the name controller, and then we add the label, which is going to be subscription name, like so. Is there an error anywhere? I think I need to do a hot restart here. Alright, let's click and see. You can see the subscription name is showing there. When you tap, I know the border is not really clear like that. Let's work on that. We'll make the border to be gray. Input border, let's make this border color. Let's make the color to be colored gray so that it will be visible. Let's go back and return. Still not visible. Why is that? Let's make it to be, let's see, black. Okay, outline border, border side. This is supposed to take effect, or does it need like let's see, enabled border and see if that works. But normally border is supposed to work across it. We don't need to be setting enabled border again. So let me replace this with app colors or gray. Okay, the gray is still hiding, so it's not a good one. If we change it to black, black is a little bit better. So we can just leave it like when you tap, it's going to change to blue based on, you know, it's focused. That's more like the focused color. So let's return back to the screen. So from here, I'm also going to create another one, which is the border feed. And for this, I'm going to call this cost controller. And I'm going to change the name to monthly cost, which is going to be in dollar. And then I will change the input type to a number, because for number-based values, we are not supposed to use text. So this is going to be, it's going to bring up the number keyboard for us. Okay. Then I'm also going to duplicate this as well. And here we are going to have the date controller. And here we are going to have it set read only to false. And then controller dot is going to pick the next billing date basically. So this next billing date will be moving it into the provider. But for now, let me just move it outside the provider. So what we'll do is I will leave it the way it is for now. We don't need to touch anything. So I will replace this with next billing date. And set read only to true. Remove this input feed, and on top of it we are going to display, you know, pick dialog, pick date. I'll be showing this one later when we start working on the implementation, like the provider logic. Then the next thing I'm going to do here is the drop down field. So we have the drop down feed where we'll have the label, which is going to be the billing cycle. Select the billing cycle, and that billing cycle can be monthly, weekly, and all that. So we have the value is going to be the controller. It's going to be like the billing cycle value. Then the item, we have daily, weekly, or never. Never is for subscription that does not reoccur. Yeah, like a one-time subscription. Then we have unchanged. I'm going to remove this. We have unchanged. Unchanged is basically, you know, when the user tapped on it, we need to change the value based on this. So you can see the monthly feed. It's still not looking great. The billing cycle is, I'm going to add some space in here because it's very close. Let's add size box. Okay, we'll change this. I think this should be 12. Let's change it to 8. All right, so on change of it, we are going to set the billing cycle based on, let me just use set state here. I think we can use set state inside here because this is a stateless widget. So I'll be updating and moving all this logic to the provider later. So let's just leave them as they are. And now I'm going to move down to creating another one. Since we have the billing cycle there, I'm going to create the category. Okay, so this category now is going to be like the category that we are going to be using, the category items. And the category item, we already have them here in our provider. I think we have them somewhere around here. I think that should be under analytics view. This is the provide category. We are not supposed to have this category in more than 2 places, right? It's supposed to be in our provider. So what I will do, I'll just make it global for now, because I'm going to update it later. I'm just going to make it global for now. And inside here, instead of this item, I'm going to use the categories directly. And okay, we have items, we have value, okay, and then we have the category, which is category. I think something is missing. Okay, initially the category that we have, like the value is supposed to be category, yeah? So save that. Does it have, it has entertainment. let's make it to a lowercase and see. Okay, we have entertainment. So moving on now, we are going to create the button to save the subscription. So this button is basically going to be an elevated button. We are going to add style and every other thing. So just below it, I'm going to set, let's say, size box is going to be that of 40. Okay, and then I'll have my size box here that says width. Let's use double.infinity. Then we have the height to be around 50. Then we have the child. I'll be using the elevated button for this. Unpressed is just going to save the subscription for us and then navigate us back to the previous screen. Then we also have the child widget, which is going to be save subscription. And then finally we have we need to put the button style for this. Background color white, blue, and then the foreground color white. Foreground color just means the text color inside, like the child color inside the button. Let's just fix this. That's just a warning, nothing serious. So now I noticed that this border is having a white color, but this one is having black color and this one is having white. So let's try to make them consistent. But I'm still doubting if this color is good. I feel maybe we should just stick with, the light gray color. I think it's much more better than this. Let's just stick with the initial color. No, it's not really visible, but with the name we'll be able to differentiate it. Okay, when you tap, you can select weekly and monthly, and you can select this one as well. Then when you save subscription, what it does, it just to take us to save it, save subscription, and then take us back to the other screen. So we can just use navigator.pop here, and basically it just takes us back to the next screen. All right, so guys, you can see this is pretty much everything we need for the whole the whole UI and all that. But I need one thing again for empty state. Pardon me, I'm just going to copy this and paste here. We have to put like the empty state, because if you notice, let me show you guys something. This empty state is what we are going to be using. So if you go to our dashboard view, you can see when subscription is empty. If it's, let's say, hold on, let me go back here and remove this and make it empty. So when subscription list is empty, you can see we are just displaying a text. So I will fix that by putting this empty state that we already created. All right, then I will change the title here to be no subscription yet, add one. So just like this, and this should be like this. Empty state requires a subtitle, so no subscription yet, add one. So you just have this icon, so it's pretty much good having something like this to represent empty state across all the screens. So yeah, we are sticking with that. If you don't want that to be that way, you can also add a text to the subscription here. You're just going to have that title. But yeah, let's leave it like this. So guys, that's pretty much it. But before we wrap up this section, I know this video is very long, but before we wrap up that section, let's have the modal that's going to show for AI suggestion. So I already have that in place. I don't need to like reinvent the whole wheel. So I will come down to modals, and inside here I will create an AI suggestion modal.dat. So right here we just have to put in the AI suggestion class, which we are going to be creating. We need to create this model in the next sections, and we have the show bottom navigation sheet. And from here we need to also, you can see we are creating just few basic center icon. And then we have this test AI subscription alternative. And then the suggestion we are mapping through the suggestions is a string of AI list, map of string list with data type of AI suggestion. So we are just going to map all these things and put the name, the notes, the app colors and all that. I'm going to show you guys how it's done. So for now, we are just going to comment this section out, but I just wanted to add it to this very video before we move on to the next section. Okay, so guys, as you can see, we are completely done with the UI integration. All these things are static data. So in the next section, I'm going to implement the provider, and then we can implement Hive and our various models and also get this thing working.